To me, my favorite one is the wall, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's immoral.
Well, forget immoral, but when you drive down the 405,
that's the wrong message.
But hold on. When you get to the
what kind of message does a border send? Like there's fucking dogs and guys with guns and mirrors that they put under trucks. Is that a weird message?
Well, that's what I want to know. So you go down the 5 and you hit that. What is that? You'll call the cars line up to cross. What is that?
San Ysidro?
No, they cross the border. And there's a wall there they have to cross.
Oh,
right?
you want me to say
yes.
Border crossing?
Yeah, border crossing. There's a wall there.
Borderline.
On one side is our immigration and naturalization guys, and the other side is Mexican federales with machine guns.
Right.
Yeah, they don't want you to just. They didn't build a bridge. They build a wall that we have to line up to go across. Right.
Well, there is a bridge. But it's one of those walkie bridges where you walk. Matt knows. He used to have a gal pal over there. Kept her stashed in TJ.
In TJ? Oh.
Or she lived there. But it sounds cooler saying kept her stashed there. There is that walkie bridge thing that you circular walk-up thing, go over the highway and down the other thing. So there is a bridge.
There's a bridge from one side of the highway to the other.
Well, it doesn't go long ways.
Right.
It goes right to left.
I understand.
It goes from Arizona to California, but it doesn't go that way.
I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's an east-west kind of bridge.
But from a logical standpoint.
But I want to build a bridge.
Oh, good. From a logical standpoint, the wall goes to, on the ocean side, it goes to the ocean. And on the other side, it goes, how far does it go? Logically,
I don't know. Anyone knows.
But we don't have walls, so should we take that down? Because if we're not going to have walls, I don't want to fucking wait in line at the border if I have to go to Mexico. Let's just take it all down. No. And then, again, people started screaming at me, if you have a hungry child, you do anything to get them up here. I'm like, so we're...
I don't... Yes, so you're right. We have to... Okay.
The hungry children in the world we should take? Okay, but what's the logic here? All hungry children come our way. Yes? Is that the logic?
Well, it is a subject that I always kind of laugh about, which is the politicians have sort of painted themselves into this kind of a corner, and you can say both directions, but to me, the Democrats have really painted themselves in a corner because they have to talk about no one is a stronger proponent for border security than me.
Right.
And then in the next sentence, they have to explain that walls don't work and they're immoral.
Right.
And then the next statement, after saying they're immoral, they have to explain we can't afford it, which is sort of now we're getting into different subjects here. Yeah. It's not, I don't say to like, my wife says, I want to send the son to volleyball camp. That's immoral. And we can't afford it. But it wouldn't work. It's like, well, wait a minute. It would work? No, it wouldn't work. But we can't afford it anyway.
Yeah.
But it's immoral. It's like, well, okay, but what is the reason Sonny doesn't go to volleyball camp?
It's immoral.
It's immoral.
Yeah, that's the reason.
And it doesn't work. And it sends a bad message to the rest of La Cañada.
And it's expensive.
And it's expensive. We can't afford it.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't do anything. You wouldn't get better at volleyball? No. I mean, it's immoral. But we can't afford it. So pick a lane, stay in the immoral lane or stay in the it's not effective lane. To me, the effective part of the wall not being effective is weird because it's sort of like, well, it certainly falls under the it couldn't hurt category to me. I feel like you'd have to attempt to go around it or under it or over it.
Do they have walls around their houses?
Well, to me, I'm okay. Here's what I'm going to say. I don't want to get into that Al Gore flies private jets argument. Right. You know, if Al Gore now
so worried about the environment,
right? But I don't want to get into that. Here's my feeling: if Al Gore was working on a new tungsten filament for a light bulb that took no electricity to burn, but he had to go back and forth to New York or Nova Scotia to get adequate lab time, I would use all the fucking Lear jets you want, brother.
Right. That's right.
I don't care.
Yes.
I'm not going to fucking judge. Oh, you're lecturing me on kilowatts and you're using a private jet? Fine, if that's what you're going to do.
Yep.
Now, if you're going to hammer a bunch of checks telling me about the polar ice caps, and that the polar bears are going to be out of homes, but it doesn't happen, and you fly the private jet, you are sort of opening yourself up to some scrutiny at that point. Still, I'm not interested in you fly private and you lecture me about the environment. I am not interested in that. I personally like the walk to walk, talk to talk. You know, you're worried about the environment. Where do you live, Al Gore? The Unabomber shack. Oh, and you read by candlelight last night? Yes, I did. Okay, good. Okay, consistent. Better than that than having a sizable property or properties that burn lots of kilowatts. But I'm still not going to get into that. And the fact that there's a wall around this, wherever, and a wall around the school, the private school, or the what have you. I don't like when people get into the, like, oh, that's hypocritical. But it is difficult to make the argument that they don't work when they're implemented so often and to great effect. There is a wall around the power plant that's up the street from us. It's not something you can't access that power plant unless you need to be very motivated to get into this power plant that's on the corner here.
But I would argue my argument was always pretty simple. What's the consensus amongst the professionals doing the work at the border? What do they feel they need? That's it. That's all I need to know. Do you need to know anything else?
No, I don't. I'm not interested in what's moral, immoral when it comes to science or physicians or walls or anything. I just want to know what's effective. I don't know. It's strange to me that anyone would sort of graft on an attitude. If you want to, in a world where everyone who disagrees with you is racist and everyone who's white has white privilege and everyone's homophobic and xenophobic and everything, everyone's just everything all the time. It is funny that we're taking a wall. This is something that's made of cinder block and rebar and calling it immoral. Like we're literally opening the Bible and grafting on some, look, the things, inanimate objects have a difficult time being immoral.
Right.
Like, cacti and cars and things.
It's promoting a split with brown people, Mexican descent.
Right. I think most people have already signed off on we would like a split with Mexico. It's a fucking narco state. The last president, or the one before him, got $100 million bribe from El Chapo, which doesn't seem to be making the rounds and news. I don't know why. It seems like a pretty big news story to me. $100 million to the president, not to the district selectman of Tijuana, to the president of Mexico, $100 million from a fucking drug kingpin. So, yes, I would like some separation between that way of life and our way of life. If you would like to sell me on border security, you simply go, hey, I don't mind building a wall, but there are many more effective things we could do with that same money that would yield greater results.
Just send me the professionals that work down there that can tell me what that is.
And let me use this diorama and this pointer stick and show you exactly what we shall be doing.
Yeah.
And then I would go, oh, okay.
Fine. Go do that.
Yeah. Look, if somebody said, hey, your kids go to the junior high over there. Yeah. They're going to take down all the fencing around it. I'd go, yeah. Why would you take down all the fencing around? Well, here's what I'm going to do. I can take down all the fencing. And every 20 feet, they're going to put a security guard there. And that way the kids will have access, if there's an emergency, to be able to get out, whatever. But the security guards will be there 24/7 to make sure. And I'd go, okay,
yeah,
that sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
But if you go, because fences are immoral and they don't stop people, I'd go, no, I think they do. And then they'd go, yeah, but we'll have drones surveilling the fence. And I'd be like, yeah, they have Ring doorbell footage of everyone breaking into everyone's house, stealing all their shit, and then leaving. Right. We got the footage. We don't have. I'm out a tennis bracelet, but I don't. We have the footage of it. Like, I'm not interested in the footage. I want them to stop coming into the house.
Yeah.
So let the guys. The notion that you or me or Nancy Pelosi or even Trump or anybody knows better of what's going on the border than the people that work on the border is kind of insane.
Right. And I don't hear them speaking really with a unified voice. They seem to speak through the president. And I'm just curious what's going on down there, what they really think. I'd love to know.
Well, I think if you asked anybody, look, here's your job. You get in this Toyota Land Cruiser and you got this stretch of desert over there in Arizona and you just kind of you patrol it. I think if you said to that guy and you go, well, what's your range? Well, I'm in charge of this 30-mile zone here. And you went, what if I put up a wall in that 30 miles? Would you be happier with that? And the guy'd probably be like, yeah, I can eat lunch in my truck and not worry about that stretch. That's what I would assume. And then you can go, well, they just go around where it wasn't. I'd go, yeah, but if you're the guy patrolling that stretch, I would assume there's a power plant on the corner. They probably have a guard. If you ask the guard, would you prefer all the walls to be taken down? He'd probably go, no, it'd make my job harder. Could you still do your job? Maybe. Well, what if we hired on some more guys? Yeah, but don't take the wall down.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if the same argument for putting a wall up could be made for taking one down. It's really just the same argument.
Yep.
If the answer is, here's the question.
That's what I keep asking. Why don't we take it down? If
we had an unbroken wall traveling, let's just say you had a modern wall that covered every bit of the 2,200 miles or whatever it is along the southern border and it was up now, would you take it down? Well, the answer is no. Okay, so
somebody actually asked that on one of the Sunday news shows because he was going on about it being immoral. He goes, well, why don't we take down what's there between these two cities? Like, no, not that.
Well, the problem with the take it down between the two cities is it's like there's all these arguments about where it's pushing people and funneling and channeling. The real question is, hypothetically, if the wall was up and finished, would you want it down for border security reasons or humanitarian reasons?
It's immoral. You'd want to take it down.
I don't think many people would then vote to take it down. At that point, then you go, okay, well, now it's about money.
Yeah.
What about the money? $5.7 billion. All right. Well, we're right at that number with the bullet train, and there's no track been laid yet. So can't be money. Otherwise, whoever was pushing for the bullet train would not be pushing for the bullet train. It can't be the same party that's pushing for a $100 million non-bullet train says the $100 billion and the $5 billion, same group can't go, the $5 billion is too rich for our blood. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
That's me buying a $1 million Paul Newman race car and then you want to sell me your old BMW for $19K. And I go, whoa. What do you think? I'm fucking made of money? Like, that's a weird argument from that side of the aisle. You're pushing, ironically, in California for a $100 billion bullet train that no one's going to ride. We're at the price of the wall for what you guys have started already, and you're just in planning. Like, you haven't even laid any track. We're already at that number. So it can't be money, can it? Drew's shaking his head. That's good pod, everybody.
When you talk about that train, I go apoplectic myself. So
we need it.
It's not even set up to be a bullet train.
I know. I'm just saying it's a little disingenuous to push hard for a project like that and then start talking about finances and fiscal responsibility and how to spend the taxpayers' money.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Considering one is 20 times as more?
Yes.
Okay.